Hi, today we're going to talk about pricing. The one thing nobody tells you how to do. You have to figure it out yourself. After all, it's your business. Let's be honest. Pricing your services as a new home care agency can feel like a wild guessing game. You don't want to scare families away by charging too much, but you also don't want to work 60 hours or more a week and still wonder how you're going to pay the bills, right? And yet, this is where so many new agencies go wrong. They charge what they think people will pay. They undercut the market just to win the first client. They stay stuck in a cycle of being busy but broke. Let's change that today. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to price your services in a way that honors the value you provide, your time, your team, and yes, your worth. Because you can care and still get paid. Let me tell you a quick story. When we first launched over 20 years ago, we weren't sure what to charge either. We asked around. There was not much online, no chat GPT, right? We talked to a few other providers. We picked a number that sounded fair. It seemed right, and we ran with it. But here's the thing. It wasn't enough, not nearly. Every month we'll look at the numbers. Revenue was coming in, but profit? Let's just say we weren't popping any champagne, nor even some fine wine, right? You get the picture. We're doing everything right on the surface, taking care of clients, building a team, but we're undercharging. You may not think so, but that's a dangerous place to be. Sooner or later, you will not be able to keep the lights on. In the early days, there were times we felt like we were going down that path. It wasn't until we got serious about our financials, about understanding cost, setting margins, and adjusting our pricing that things started to shift. We went from asking, why isn't there any money left, to confidently saying, here's our rate. Let's talk about how we'll serve your loved one. Now, let's talk about why pricing is so tricky in home care. Home care is personal, it's emotional, and often expensive. So we understand why new owners feel nervous about charging what they're worth. But here's what you have to remember. You are not just selling hours, no. You are delivering peace of mind, safety, dignity, and lifestyle. And your pricing should reflect that. Here's what happens when you undercharge. You can't afford to pay caregivers well. You burn out from doing too much yourself. You struggle to invest in your business. You attract bargain hunters instead of loyal families. Let's help you fix that by doing some quick math. You don't need to be an accountant to understand this. It's simple. And here's the truth about costs. Let's say you charge, to pick a number, $32 an hour, and you pay your caregivers $19 an hour, for example. That's a $13 margin, right? But not exactly. You still have to cover payroll taxes, workers' comp, insurance, background checks, admin wages, scheduling software, phones, office supplies, training time, and so on. And all of a sudden, your $13 margin that looked great turns to $5 or even less. And if you don't know these numbers, you keep running faster and faster for less and less. So let's start with this first step. Know your real hourly cost. What does it cost you to provide services? Get a pen out and write this down. You want to know what it costs you to deliver 1 hour of care. Just 1 hour of care, okay? You want to start with your direct costs, which include your caregiver hourly wage, your payroll taxes. They usually run between 7.58 to 12%. Workers' compensation, any bonuses, mileage, perks, or incentives. Then you add your indirect costs. What are your indirect costs? Your admin salaries, your rent or your mortgage, if you own your property, your phones, your software, insurance, training, recruiting, orientation, all of that. Okay. Now you're going to divide your monthly expenses by the number of hours you bill. That's your billable hours. When I say your monthly expenses, is you've added your fixed cost and your variable costs. You add those together and you divide by the billable hours for that month. Okay. That will give you an idea of what it costs you to provide that hour of care. That's step one. For step two, you want to set a profitable rate. Once you know your cost per hour, it's time to set your bill rate. A healthy gross margin is in home care is typically around 30 to 35%. Some people say 35 to 45%. So anywhere between there is fine. Now, if your cost per hour is 20, you should be charging no less than $28 an hour. Some markets go higher, 35, 40, 45, depending on your location and the level of care, the service that you provide. Now, here's a tip. Don't just follow what others are charging. They might be underpricing too. You don't know. You can respect the market without undervaluing yourself by following the steps I just outlined. Step three, use a pricing conversation, not a price list. Don't send your prices over email. Don't just blurt it out on the phone. Price is part of a conversation. Instead of saying we charge $30 an hour, for example, say something like this. We offer custom care plans, but most of our clients invest around $30 an hour. Let's talk about what your family needs first. You see how I changed that? This positions you as a consultant, not a vendor. Step number 4, offer tiers or packages, not discounts. If someone says that's too expensive, that's all right. Don't rush to lower your rate. Instead, offer a smaller care plan, something that maybe suit their budget for where they are at this point. You could start with 12 hours a week to help your mom get comfortable, something like that. Then we'll reassess in 30 days. Or you could add more value. You could say we also offer bundled hours or a loyalty rate for families doing 40 hours or more a week. You are still in control of your pricing. You are just giving flexible options, not undercutting your value. So step number 5, you want to review your rates regularly. Don't set a rate and stay with it. Things change. If you've been in business for a while, when was the last time you raised your rates? Some people are afraid to raise their rates. If inflation has gone up, and it has, and your costs have gone up, and they have, what about your rates? You're losing money every month if you don't raise your rates to keep up. We recommend reviewing your rates at least once a year and adjusting based on market trends, consumer price index, payroll increases, demand for care, service levels. Maybe you're providing living, weekends, 24-hour care, and so on. And when you do raise your rates, communicate with confidence. You can say something like, to continue delivering the high quality care you've come to expect from us, we are updating our rates starting January 1st, for example. You don't owe anyone an apology for running a responsible, sustainable business. If you take a look at national averages, in fact, according to Genworth's cost of care survey, you can look that up online. The national median hourly rate for home care services is around $30 to $32 an hour. In some states, it's closer to 25. In others, it's well over 40. Your pricing should reflect your local market, your service type, your caregiver wages, and your profit goals. Remember, you are building a business that serves others and supports your future also. Here's a bonus tip for you. Some people don't like this, but if you're comfortable with it, you can mystery shop your market. There are also companies out there that can help you do that, right? Or you can go right out and ask, your fellow providers in your market. Ask them what their rates are. Ask them what type of services they're providing. You want to understand your market, right? how much your services are, if they have tiered rates like for weekends, nights, differentials, if they have minimum hours. Take notes. See how they present themselves when you talk to them. Compare your pricing, compare your process, compare your positioning. How do you talk to potential clients? This gives you powerful insight, not to copy, but to strategically position your agency. I'm not saying you should just do whatever they're doing. Okay, so now here's the real talk. It's not just about numbers. One year we had a revenue spike. We were like, yes, everything was going great. But when we met with our CPA, we asked the same questions we've been asking over the years. This is during tax strategy time. Where is the money? We looked at our numbers, we smiled, we thought we were doing great. But when he looked at our numbers, he said, wow, your revenue is up, but your profit, not so much. That was a turning point. We did a full expense audit. We tightened our billing. We cut the waste. We raised our rates. Yes, we did. And we continue to do so. And that's when we finally started seeing real growth. So yes, pricing is part of a bigger system, right? As you provide your care. So if you want some help, let's hear from you. Have you undercharged or felt unsure about what to charge? You're not alone. Drop a comment. Let's stop the guessing and start growing. Now, here are your next steps. You can book your 30 minutes free consultation with us. It's a strategy session by clicking on the link below. Also, take some time to review your pricing. Subscribe for more real talk like this every week. And if this is blessed you, share with others. If you have any questions, go to the website Ask Joan and Paul and leave your question there. AskJoanandPaul.com. We'll be glad to help you. Remember, you were called to care, but you have to do so profitably so you can continue providing the valuable services that your clients have come to know, to expect from you. And then you'll be able to sustain growth, you'll be able to scale, and you'll be able to serve even more clients. Best wishes. Until next time, remember to subscribe, comment, like, share. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.